What's going on, Military Cashflow family? As you guys can see, Mike's not here today. He got a prior obligation, so it's just going to be me today, and I'm going to be your host, your one and only host, right? So, should be a good time. What I have going on in the works right now is I'm finishing up the refi on my very first 4 unit. It's looking really good. I think I'm going to be able to cash out. I'm doing a cash out refi, so I think I'm going to be able to take out a very significant amount. I'll give you guys an update probably on another episode. I might do a video about it because I'm really excited about it, actually. Other than that, the wholesale thing, the wholesale operation, right? So I've started a wholesale operation, me and 2 other friends, and working out of South Florida and then also Savannah, Georgia. So we've been rocking for about 3 weeks, and I'm documenting the journey as we are going. So if you want to see that, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. And once every other week, I'll be putting out a new update, kind of giving you basically sharing the story, sharing the journey, sharing what's going on, right? So we had the cold callers on the phones for the first time yesterday, and they did really well. We got a couple leads off of them, reach out to a few of those leads, and we're just working the process, man. So really excited about it. Speaking of being excited, right? Our guest today is James Peterson. It's awesome dude. He's an Air Force guy. He is Air Force guy working on an Army installation. So it's pretty cool. He's a unicorn out there at Fort Benning. And he's going to be talking about his real estate journey and how, he bought his first single family, and then he went and bought a house hack, a duplex, living in one side. He bought it in the bando, dude. Like it was like a rundown. He said rat infested, like it was just really messed up, really bad part of kind of a bad part of town, right? So he talks us through his journey, what his mentality was, what his where his mind was at as he was renovating the property and going through the renovation process, excuse me. And he basically just kind of tells his story, man. I think it's really awesome. I can't wait to have him on again to do a follow-up of where he's at. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this story. What's going on, Military Cashflow family? Today we got James Peterson in the house, and he's going to be telling us all about his journey with real estate. James, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on. Please tell us a little bit about you and who you are, what you're doing, and what you got going on.
Oh, thank you. Nothing much, Dan. So I'm James Peterson. Pretty new real estate investor. Started back in 2019. Just starting to get my hands really dirty into it. 29-year-old Air Force captain stationed at Fort Benning. I know, super weird, huh? I just worked for a squadron. I worked for the, that's attached to the Rangers. Excited to be on this show. Been listening to Dan for a good while. Looked up to, the 5 Pillars team, Mike Gillespie and all them. So excited to do this.
Yeah, man. Mike's a stud, dude. If you guys aren't seeing this, Mike's not on right now. He's got a prior engagement, but we're still going to roll on and give you this great content, this great value, man. So James, so you're at Fort Benning, right? But you're an Air Force guy. How many other Air Force guys are there? I'm assuming you don't really see too many around there.
So I'm the only 17 Delta, like cyber officer here. There's a decent, I think it's like 5 or 6, what we call 19 Zulus for TACP officers. And then there's a pretty large contingent of actual TACPs. And they support there's fire support for the 3rd Ranger Battalion local. And then we also got some GSUs at JBLM and then Hunter Airfield supporting 1st and 2nd BAT.
Yeah, man, that's pretty dope, man. That's got to be kind of weird being the unicorn out there, right? Everybody's in their multicams, and then you got your. Well, I guess the Air Force has their version of that too, but still, you got the Air Force tag on you, So I'm sure that's pretty unique, right?
Yeah.
How's it been for you so far? Just being. Is this your first duty station where you've been where you're mainly around other Army folks?
Yeah, so I worked combat comm for a good while at a Robbins Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And we saw Army guys pretty often out there, so it wasn't too weird. Definitely a little bit of a culture change here. You guys are a lot more aggressive, more willing to call folks out. And my favorite thing to do is I got a troop actually in the Space Force. And so follow him around the BX and see all the weird looks he gets. It's pretty funny. But I like it. Air Force can be a little bit, too soft at times. It
Oh
can't
man,
be
hey,
too
you
alert,
said it.
so
You
it's
said it,
refreshing.
not me, man.
Hey, I'll admit it. I'll be the first to admit it. We're definitely the Winnie Hut Jr. out the bunch.
Oh man, we brought it back to the SpongeBob, man.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. So, hey, so what was it like growing up for you, man? Like, you got into real estate. Kind of talk us through like your experience with money as you were growing up, and then how you transitioned into real estate from that.
So I'm the son of a retired military officer. My dad retired lieutenant colonel. My mama just worked. My mom worked gigs around, wherever installation we were at. And so they were pretty like risk diverse. Like they ain't like taking risks. They grew up extremely poor, so I can understand, when they got money, held on to it, and they pulled themselves out of debt. And so what they did taught me is how to be frugal with your money. The lifestyle change between having money and not having money. And so military brat, prototypical, weird new kid every school I went to. My dad finally stationed, retired at Fort McPherson. It closed down since in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I grew up in a suburb in South Atlanta in Fayetteville, good old Whitewater High School. And so athlete growing up, track and football, struggled my way through college, did 5 years of ROT, 5.5 years of ROTC, that tells you anything. It's like the first Air Force ROTC kid to get an extra half year on top. Got a degree in mathematics, not good at math at all. So that's just all God right there. But yeah, so now I'm here. What got me into real estate was just, I was having some money in Korea. I had more money than I ever had before. And I'm like, I don't want to be stupid with this money, because I remember coming back from deployment, and I was the guy that came back. I'm like, 30 G's in my account. What am I going to do? I bought 24-inch rims that are sitting in my backyard right now.
No.
And then I went and spent like $5,000 on like a club section. And I'm like, man, that money went kind of fast. And so I didn't want to make that mistake again. And Lord behold, bigger pockets found me, and then got started from there.
Hey, that's awesome, man. I love that sometimes you got to learn through experience, right, man? Sometimes you do stupid stuff, but that's part of life, man. Those are the stories that you always talk about, and you always, you're always going to have with you. I'm sure I hope when you balled out the club that one time, I hope, you had a great experience, at least a memorable experience, but that's great. So you went in, kind of wasted a little bit of money, and then you kind of figured out, hey man, I got to do something with this. And that's kind of where you transition to real estate. Am I right there?
Yeah. I saw my bank account building up in Korea. I was at Kunsan Air Base, and COVID hit. We were locked down on base, so you literally couldn't spend any money. I didn't have a house to send stuff to, so I couldn't go on Amazon and ball out. And so I got back and found bigger pockets. I'm like, wait, I can do something with this.
It's weird what COVID did to a lot of people, right? It kind of forced us inside and like kind of, really made us reflect. And so we've had a couple different guests come on and mention that same thing. Yeah, like I started going through that COVID process, I really started to reevaluate what was going on and look at my money. And when you're not able to do certain things, it kind of forces you to do other things, right? Yeah. So that's pretty cool that you kind of took that time and figured it out from there. So what was your first adventure into real estate from there? So you're like, all right, I got some money here. I'm in Korea though. Was it, you PCS to the States and then you started taking action, or were you taking action back in Korea outside of bigger pockets?
And so let me backtrack a little bit. So at Robbins, where my first duty station other than tech school, I had a good friend, Ray. So Ray was a prior E lieutenant that drove one of the nicest Dodge Vipers you'll ever see, right? And so I bought my first house off of talking to Ray. And so Ray, I took him out to lunch one day. I'm like, hey man, like, what's going on, man? Like, you selling drugs? Like, how you afford a freaking Dodge Viper? And he said, you want me to be real, man? He said, I was stationed in Florida for most of my career. I bought 4 houses, they appreciated, and I also co-partner in this drag racing business I got. And he was trying to convince me to buy a house. He said, look, man, just buy a house. And he kind of like headed my neck to the water. He was like, you're going to get a house. I'm going to teach you how to get a house. And so I did. USA had a great program back then where you can use run the realtors and get a kickback after purchasing a house. And so It's probably illegal. I probably shouldn't be saying this. I got orders to Korea, and I knew I had like another 4 months at Robbins. And so I'm like, if I get a house now, I can just buy it with a private residence loan and just kick out to Korea. And so had a great realtor. I didn't know what I was doing at all. Did not know about bigger pockets or anything. I just bought a house. I bought just a 3-2 in one of Robbins. Thank God, I think I cash flow like $25 a month off of it, but it appreciated 50 grand in the last 2 years. And so not knowing what I was doing at all, I just bought a house in a good school district, and it just worked out for me. But I didn't start taking serious actions until I got back from Korea. And that's where I'm at today with this duplex and another single family.
Okay, excellent. So just really quick for those out there listening, that what you did there was not illegal, right? Unless you had orders and you knew for a fact you were going. But even sometimes when you have orders, things change at the drop of the dime, right? Like where you might have not have to PCS to where you think you might be PCSing to, right? And that's why that clause in the DA pamphlet 72-something or 62-something, I got it wrong. I'll put the link down below. But in the VA pamphlet, it says must intend to occupy the home for 1 year, right? So if you're not sure, if you don't know 100%, you might think you're going to PCS in 6 months. There's no concrete rule saying that you can't, buy a house. So I don't think what you did there was illegal at all, actually. And I see a lot of people actually do that, assuming that they may be PCSing. They're not 100% sure, but it might be good for their family to actually be in a stable location, and they PCS themselves and come back. So there's a bunch of different situations that could work in. So you got that house. It appreciated 50 G's over the last couple of years, right? And then what?
And then so after I buying that house at PCS in Korea, like I said, COVID hit hard when I was in Korea, just saving up money. And I found bigger pockets, and I just became obsessed. Like I was, I think I went through well over 250 episodes of Bigger Pockets. Found Brennan Turner's How to Invest in Real Estate book, read that cover to cover. Then I got Richest Man Babylon, the classics. Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. Now I'm reading 4 Hour Work Week, and I'm just neck deep in this stuff. And so I got back, and I actually this is gonna be kind of weird, kind of like a mindset type deal. I left all my stuff in storage when I got back in Korea. I just had too much junk. Moved in an air mattress, a card table, and a 30-inch TV into an apartment. Got a month to month lease. And I'm like, I'm gonna live like this until I move out. I'm gonna force myself to be hungry so I can force myself to buy a house hack. That's what I wanted to do. And so I couldn't find a house hack at all. Everybody knows, like after COVID, this market has been brutal. And so I was using realtors. She wasn't the most knowledgeable for investing. Ended up firing her and getting a new realtor. Shout out to Veronica Smith. She's awesome. She found a 3-2 that's a duplex to convert to a duplex in a rougher area in Columbus, Georgia. And I bought it sight unseen because I was at military school and I couldn't dip out from the school because of COVID regulations to go see the house. So I'm like, you know what? This is my opportunity. I'm tired of living on this air mattress. I'm just going to buy the house. I'm in a rough area. Like I was literally talking to my neighbor across the street because his house got shut up the other day. So I'm looking forward to moving. But yeah, I started renovating the property. I did a lot of work on this 1-1. I live on the 1-1 side. The 2-1 side almost done. And it's been a chore, man. It's been a chore, but I mean, it's a good product now. I think where I'm at is I'm making it as nice as I can. I probably over rehabbed it. And I don't mind because I want to get a better tenant since I'm in a C-, probably even D area. So I'm hoping to get a tenant to snack on, just trash my place. But I like the product that I have. I think if I'm good to people will be good to me and not be too much of a disturbance. And I have guns, and so I'm not too.
So you took some action, man. The bottom line is you took some action. It might have been imperfect action, but you still took action, right? So when you came to, I mean, you bought the house sight unseen. Did you know that the area was going to be as bad as you're saying it is right now? I mean, because I invest in Columbus myself, man. I wish I wish we would have known each other prior to that. I could have gave you a realtor. I mean, I know several multifamily. I got a couple quads in the area as well. So I wish I could have referred you to my people, you know, and they would have took care of you. Maybe put you in a better place where you know you might not your neighbor might not got a shot up, you know. But did you know about the area? Did your realtor tell you about the area prior to you actually buying it?
So I thought I did my research, but I didn't do enough. She's good people. She suggested like it's near Macon Road, right? And so Macon's kind of like this divergent zone between a good area and bad area. So you go north, literally, I go north 400 yards, I can touch a $400,000 house. I go south 400 yards, and it's probably a murder. And so it's just on the crest of being gentrified. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just go for it, right? But I didn't. We look at the historics of Columbus, and I'm like, this place. I'm 2 roads down from $500,000 house. Like, how bad could it get? And so I didn't expect all this. I did read the city plan for Columbus, Georgia, and they were like, oh, we're putting $11 million into that area. They've been trying to, let Midtown build up since 2016. So I had a lot of faith in it. And she told me the area's a little bit rougher, but it's coming up. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take action. I think I was beat out on like 16 or 17 different offers by the time I got this house. And so I was just frustrated. I'm just going to jump. It's here. I'm the first one too. It's a pocket listing from the realtor, so it's not even on MLS yet. I just went for it.
Nice.
It got me in.
It got you in the door, and you're getting the experiences, right? You're getting the experiences, and you understand the market so much so that you already went and bought another single family in the area, correct?
Oh yeah, I got so Veronica, she had another pocket listing. Another investor actually had this one rolled up. So I think what happened was it's a 4-2. I think it was originally a 3-1, and they added another like 500 square feet to it. Because it's listed as 1,600 square feet, but look, walking that property, it's clearly over 2,000 square feet. So I'm gonna add that to the tax records, and that should look sexy on the ARV. But yeah, it's a 4-2 in Smith Station, Alabama, with a barnyard and a chicken coop in the back, sitting on like 2.5 acres. Now, another investor had wrapped up for 85 grand. He found some moisture in the subfloor, didn't feel like it was a good investment, and they knocked it down to 65. Knocked it down to 62.5, and I bought it at 62.5 in Smith Station, Alabama.
Nice. And you're renovating that one right now, right?
Yeah, so I'm waiting to cash out refi on this one. Because I took out I can take out one for this one. So I financed this one with the FHA loan. And then I financed the rehab with a credit card. So that credit card's maxed out. It straight up like destroyed my credit score. And so I'm waiting to pay off. I'm gonna cash out refinance, pay off that credit card, and then get a personal loan so I can afford to renovate the Smith Station.
Excellent. So before we go too deep into the Smith Station one, right? I want to talk about some of the lessons learned from this current house hack. What it's been like, living with someone else on the other side as with you being the owner, right? What it's been like going through the renovation process, what you've learned in the process. If you had to do it over again, what are some of the things that somebody listening can take away from your real estate journey?
Oh man, I feel like I got a degree just from this one house and just what not to do.
Teach us.
So when I got the house, it had a tenant in here, and he was a heroin addict, right? And so I knew I had 90 days to move in with the FHA rules. And so first thing I did was presented him with a notice to move out. When I took ownership of the property, I think 60 days in Georgia is the law. And so I gave him a 60-day notice. He couldn't afford to move out, so I actually gave him like $1,000 and helped him move out, and even helped him find a place to move out. So he got out of here, and his unit smelled like the inside of a menthol cigarette.
Is that the one that you're in right now, or is that the other one?
That's the other one. That's the one I'm currently renovating. This one, this unit wasn't tenanted. Apparently there used to be a drug house in the back knocked down, and there were weeds growing everywhere. And so, yeah. And so, I got in this house, and I was ripping out carpet, doing all the demo, and there was just rat feces everywhere. I had all kinds of mosquitoes and flies and this nastiness down here. And I remember just being just neck deep in renovations and sitting on the floor being like, what did I get myself into? And so I'm dog tired. I was actually sleeping well, I was about 2 months into renovations. I was actually sleeping at work, and lying to my first sergeant about it. Because this place wasn't, I couldn't have it. This place, it was just too nasty. And so I said, I need help. And so I think this is like a godsend. I was doing something. I think I was going on lunch, and I was driving through a pretty rough area in Columbus, and I seen a guy walk outside his house, just covered in paint. And I'm like, oh, he's a contractor. And I just pulled over, and dude's name was Carlos. I'm like, hey man, I got this house, need some help with it. Can you get in here and help me? Carlos gets in there, does it for a little bit of nothing in like all of 2 weeks. And I'm like, here I am struggling, trying to put drywall in, do subflooring, do all this other stuff, taking my time with it, being all depressed and just, feeling sorry for myself. And I'm like, this dude knocked it out in 2 weeks. I'm just going to hire him out for everything. And so end up hiring him out to do this side, and hire another GC to take care of that 2-1 side because Carlos was just so busy. And then my dad flew down and actually helped me with the backyard. And so we got a giant tilling machine, knocked down all the weeds, put some dirt down. Carlos put up a fence. And then I got like a little fire pit down there too. And then I didn't have a place to park. Parking was a big thing because this was originally a 3-2. So I'm like, if I'm gonna have 2 people living here, I need to expand the parking. And so I got some crush and run gravel, put some gravel down, knocked down a tree, and then actually got a guy to come in and for a little bit of nothing, put cement down, and then a sidewalk leading up to the 1-1 part. And so I have a cemented parking pad, and an actual sidewalk leading up to my stoop area in the 1-1 because it was just mud, and you would just track mud inside.
Dude, so you did some work, man. Like you did some
man.
serious work, man. I know that's got to be a refreshing feeling to like now walk into your 1-1 and be like, I can live here now. And I no longer have to be depressed sitting on the floor, man. I know it's got to be a good feeling. That's crazy.
It was a ride.
Story. Yeah. How long was it from start to finish? All right, you purchased it and then but now you're obviously living in it. So how long was that,
So I'm actually still doing renovations on that 2-1 side because work has really picked up, and I've been TDY a whole lot. And this is also a lesson learned. So I should have just made a punch list and had a contractor do it, but I've been just knocking it out slowly. But I also don't want to get a bad tenant in there, so I've been trying to make it as nice as possible. So I bought the house in April, and yeah, now it's freaking almost November, and I'm just not getting to a place where it's pretty much done.
Okay.
And it took a good while because I was trying to do a lot of stuff myself. I could sped this up a lot by just hiring somebody out. But in all honesty, I'm enjoying the lessons that I'm learning. And I'm learning a lot about the renovation process. And so when I talk to GC, it used to be I talk to a GC, I'm okay, yeah, all right, that sounds right. Because I didn't do the homework, see how much stuff costs. But now I can talk to a GC, like, wait a minute, why are you doing this? Why are you charging me $500 for this little simple thing that's going to take you out? I have to do. So just learning the renovation process myself, getting used to this area, knowing the pockets of good places in Midtown Columbus, not want to make that mistake of investing in a pretty rough area again, and just getting used to my neighbors, like talking to my neighbors, asking them to store to this area, and then just realizing that like, hey, the people in this area aren't bad. It's just 1 or 2 groups of people causing all the ruckus, and just getting to know the people around. And not making my own stigmas. And so this was just a huge, just kind of, like I said, college course in real estate investing, the renovation process, how to talk to people, how to talk to other investors, where to invest at.
Yo, I love it, man. I love it. So that's what a lot of people will say, failing forward, right? Like taking little steps. Yeah. I mean, they're imperfect actions. And yeah, you're failing sometimes, but you're learning a lesson throughout the entire time, dude. And those are invaluable skills, man. Like, I had the same thing. We're literally working in Columbus on that first 4 unit, my first ever renovation where I wasn't like right next to it. Essentially, it took like 9 months. It took like 9 months to renovate the property. I went through a lawsuit. Like it was absolutely ridiculous,
Yeah.
So I definitely understand what you're saying, but I would never trade those lessons. Even though I lost a little bit of money, I would never trade that for anything because that has shaped me into the investor I am now. Just like you talked about, like, you've been doing some work yourself and the cost of certain things because you kind of did them yourself. And then you got your boy Carlos over there that's doing work too. Right. So like you talk to other contractors and, you can kind of smell a scam if you can kind of smell a scam if it's kind of happening, right? Like, you know, that doesn't sound right. You know, what you're doing right there doesn't really look right. You know, what's really going on here? So that's great stuff, man. It makes you that much stronger.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm happy I did. I'm happy I went through it. And I can look at this product now and just be that much prouder because I'm like, you know, I made this with my own 2 hands and just got it from the dirt, you know, just didn't know anything about real estate starting off, but the renovation process. And now in fact, I got 4 people in the last month asked me when the other side's gonna be ready to be rented out. Like, people are itching to get in there. And
So
that's telling me something.
So what has it done for your mindset though? So we talked about, like, we talk a lot about mindset, right? Like, so what has this done for your train of thought? Like, now that you've gone through this process, you're almost done with it, that you're going through this process and you're almost done with it. What has that done for you as far as, like, I mean, I know you don't have it rented out and you haven't really gotten any like major cash flow or anything like that, but just going through the process, where's your mind at right now? And how do you think differently than before you bought this property?
In all honesty, I'm just not scared anymore. I mean, to put into perspective, 2 months ago, somebody was shot down the street. Yesterday in broad daylight, somebody had a drive-by. And then last Wednesday, my neighbor's house got shot up, right? And so I invested in a D area. Maybe she might have been a D area. I did all the wrong things. How much worse can it get? And so I'm like, if you jump in, I can't make any more mistakes than I already made. And so I'm like, I did it. Like, I did the worst you can do. I got the F on the first test. All right. So trust me, I failed a lot of tests in school. My mindset was, well, I got 30 in the class. Why not just go for it all? And so now when the opportunity present itself, I'm like, how bad could it get? It's definitely not going to get this bad, right? Even if it does, I know I'll pull myself out of it and I can go forward, just not being scared, just knowing that if it's a good opportunity, the numbers line up, and if you got the finances to do it, jump into it. There's just no reason to make excuses because it can't get any worse. You can't make any more mistakes.
That's the mentality of a true entrepreneur right there, man. You like, I got to make this work. You know, even if I fail a couple of times, I got to make it work. We have to have you back on in like a year just to see the progress, because just see the progress and like what the numbers look like, you know, at that time, because I know right now there's somebody listening that this is the first time like having any experience with real estate, and they're like, man, I don't know if I should buy this duplex or not. And they listen to this, they listen to this episode, and they're like, hell no, I'm not doing that. Myself through. But
I definitely buy a lot of ammo at Academy in the last couple of years. And so,
but yeah, hey, if you're listening, man, like just hold on until the next episode when we have him back on here, because I guarantee you this is all going to work out for the best, man. So I love it though. I really love the the go get it attitude, even though you figured out you made some mistakes, right? You're like, all right, what's the worst case scenario from here? Worst case scenario is, you're dealing with just some bad tenants. And like you're saying, you've already looked into the city plans and seeing what's happening. I mean, I know Columbus as well. I know that typically you want to be north of Macon Road for the most part. But I do know that area is up and coming, right? They're starting to do a lot of renovation. You're seeing a lot of cash buyers in that area doing renovations, and you see that area starting to come together. So it'll all pay off in the future, right? So it's good stuff. So now that you're not done with this one, right? You're still renovating the house hack that you're in right now. What made you decide to go ahead and go buy the other single family that you're also going to have to renovate when you're not done with this one already?
Man, so it's just putting that thought out there in the universe. Like, I had 35K in a brokerage account. I'm like, I would love to put that in real estate. And so I guess the energy is made to the universe somehow. And then Veronica, my realtor, she kept sending me deals. And I'm like, I don't want these. Like, 3 ones in Columbus. I'm already in a bad area. I'm already frustrated with this duplex. You can keep those until I get a tenant in here and I'm ready to invest again. And then she shot me that Smith Station house. Now I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I was at work and I can't have a cell phone in my building. And she saw it to me via email. I'm like, this is actually a really, really good deal. And so I'm like, okay, what's the catch? I go, they got foundation issues. I'm like, So I sent a contractor down there. He gave me a quote for $8,000 to fix that foundation issues. I'm like, $62,000 for a house, for this house. This is a steal. I didn't have the money. I had $35,000 in a brokerage account. And so I'm like, how, like, rich dad, poor dad, how do you make it happen? Like, instead of asking, instead telling yourself, I can't afford it, ask yourself, how can I afford it? And so I had $35,000 in a brokerage account, I think like $20,000 in savings. And then I'm like, okay, I can't afford this at all. And then I looked at my TSP. I looked at hard money. Hard money was offering me like 75% loan to cost. I'm like, I'm not giving you $40,000 for $75,000. Mathematically, it just doesn't make sense. And I went to 6 different hard money lenders. Big problem was it's in rural Alabama, but Smith Station is coming up. And so they didn't feel comfortable lending out there the money I needed. So I'm like, looked at my TSP. I'm like, I got enough money in my TSP to take out a TSP loan. Got $20,000 from my TSP, some money from savings, and then I pulled all my money from my brokerage account and I bought the house cash. And so now sitting there, I'm just paying dweller's insurance on it until I can get another personal loan to fix it up.
Is it vacant right? I'm assuming it's vacant right now.
Yeah, it's vacant right now. And so I'm estimated about 40 to 60K worth of work, depending on the finishes I put in there and what I do to it. But I mean, it's 3-car garage, 4.2 in Smith Station. I already got a property manager telling me she can give me $1,400 for it easy. And so I'm like, I'm all in for 62. I'm hoping to be, all in for it for either 110 to 120 cash out refi, just spur the property.
Have you done, so what is the ARV? Have you looked at like what the after repair value is once you actually make the repairs and actually renovate it?
Yeah, so higher end finishes getting 110 to 115 a square foot. And then the lower end finishes are getting $100 a square foot. And so even at 1,600 square foot, what's listed on the tax records right now, it's going to be 160. If I cash out refi, 80% loan to value, I think that put me at, I can't do the math right now, I think somewhere between 110 and 120.
So basically get exactly all of your money back out. That's what the plan is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, man. So we went through the house hack, and you pretty much just drained everything. And you're like, hey man, I'm not done with this one, but I'm going to drain everything and go full tilt with this single family over here in Smith Station. And we're going to make this work. So what's your plan to get this one financed, Ellie? I mean, I know you don't want to leave it vacant there for for a long time. I mean, I guess you bought it cash, so I mean, I guess you could just pay the property taxes for the most part in insurance, but I imagine you want to get that flipped or get that changed as fast as possible.
So right now I'm a cash out refi this duplex, and I'm hoping to get between 90 to 100 on this duplex. Cash out refi, pull the money back, and then pay off the credit card I used to renovate this duplex. And then credit score will hopefully shoot up right now. Extending out a credit card wasn't the best idea. It really took a hit to my credit score. And so I'm not getting the best interest rates on personal loans. And so I'm hoping for my credit score to shoot up, get a personal loan for like 50K, do a 3 to 4 month renovation on that Smith Station property, and then go forward from there. Hopefully get a better rate on a personal loan too. And then the reason why I'm doing this, and I'm not scared to do this, because I have a low cost of living and I'm a single captain. I mean, I make decent money, and I just report to myself. Like,
that's one of the good things about having a W-2, right? You can really make those mistakes and be okay on the outcome, because the worst you're going to lose is that money, but you always still have that your W-2 income still coming in. So that's awesome there. Have you thought about, I mean, we talked about getting on bigger pockets. I don't think we really talked about networking that much, but have you considered maybe getting a partner on the single family out there to knock that one out? Or is there any reason why you haven't I guess kind of went that route?
I'm selfish, and this is going to be the complete wrong answer according to literally everything I read and heard, but I don't want to give up the equity. Everybody says get a partner. I know that's the right answer, but I'm like, oh, that equity. Like, yeah. I mean, so right now I'm like, oh, this is mine, but I know I need to partner up on this.
They say you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, bring a team, right? So I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there as a possible suggestion. It might not even be a partner as far as as far as getting some of the equity. I'm just there. There's a lot of private lenders, even on our Facebook group. If you go on our Facebook group, I know there's a few private money lenders on there that have decent rates that might lend, that might lend to you for something like that. So, and then also another question is, would it make sense to keep it as a rental, or would it make more sense to just to flip that one in Smith Station? Because I know Smith Station, that's a pretty decent school district, and I feel like a lot of service members are going out there, right? A lot of people at Benning, when they're retiring, they're going to Smith Station and even Fort Mitchell, right? Just the taxes.
So I told myself, depending on the ARV, I'll flip it. I just don't want to take the tax hit because I need that money back. Long term, I want to get a short-term rental in a really good market so I can get some more cash flow going. But depending on the ARV, I'll flip it. So if it's a pretty high ARV, if it's on the higher end, like the 200s to low twos, I'll flip it. But if the ARV is sitting under 2, I'm just going to cash out refi. And then the other thing with flipping is I want to raise my net worth, right? I want to, on a net worth statement, I want to be, well over $200,000. And so when I go talk to different investors, when I go talk to different folks giving out personal loans, I have a bigger net worth going forward, and I can speak to having more properties. And so this might be potential flip depending on the ARV, but long term, I plan on getting a short term rental after this thing. I plan on getting a house hack and then a short term rental.
Okay, all right. So the short term rental market, I'll have to definitely introduce you to my buddy Cav. I'm not sure if you listened to that episode, but he's all in the shared economy, Airbnb, VRBO, integrating Turo and Peer Space and all that stuff like that. So make sure after this episode, I send out that intro to you, so he can probably help you out with that short term short term rental stuff. That's great, man. So where do you see yourself going from here? I mean, we talked about a little bit of net worth. You said, you briefly mentioned after you do a cash out refinance from the duplex you're living in now, and you'll take that money, put it into the Smith Station single family, keep that as a rental. And then from there, you're trying to get another house hack. And so where do you see yourself going? Like, what's the end state for you?
So I can answer that right now. The end state for me is like $10,000 a month in cash flow, right? And then that's the demarcation zone I want to hit right now. Once I hit that goal, it's just going forward from there, expanding into other business ideas or expanding into other maybe multifamily. But my goal now is $10,000 in cash flow. I don't care if that's 5 short-term rentals and 1 single family or 50 or just 1, multifamily. I just want that cash flow right now so I can have the freedom and the options to explore different opportunities. Like the military now, I just don't want the military being my end all be all and me being scared to take risks in the military, because I think that gets you far, folks who are not scared to take risks. And it's scared to take risks in life in general. I just want that back end cash flow so I can just have financial freedom and pursue passion projects I really want to pursue. Because military is good and all, but if the day comes where I get rifted, I don't want to sit back and be terrified because I don't have a second income stream coming in.
I love it, man. And I think a lot of people would listen to this episode and be like, man, I don't know if I could take that type of risk, man. Like, and the way I look at it is if you don't have more than one stream of income, or if you're not working towards more than one stream of income, you are taking a way bigger risk, right? So, and I'm sure you've seen it. I know I've seen it. My wife's a JAG officer, so I hear about it very often. A lot of times there are people that get kicked out of the military for stuff that has nothing to do with them. I'm not gonna say it has nothing to do with them, but their plan was to stay in the military, and they get kicked out for reasons that might seem a little weird. You're like, that wasn't really a big deal, or something, stuff that's out of their control sometimes as well. So, when that happens and they have no backup, they have no, nothing. Yeah, they might have put a little bit of money in the TSP, but they don't have any cash flow, right? Then, a lot of times they're stuck, dude. And, we make a pretty decent living in the military as well. So when you go out to the civilian sector and try to find a comparable job, oftentimes, more often than not, those the income doesn't really match up, especially when you take into account the healthcare and all the other benefits that we get as service members, right? Just the taxes alone, right? Like you're only taxed off of your base pay. You're not your BHA, your BAH is not taxed. Your BAS is not taxed. Any of those jump pays or special incentives are not taxed, right? So really about 30% of your paycheck is really not even taxed, right? So if you kind of, compare apples to apples, those income levels, those income numbers don't really stack up. So if all you're depending on is one source of income, I think that you're really taking the bigger risk than someone like, James here, who's taking those risks, and that are definitely pay off. We know for sure with time, real estate will definitely increase in value, right? When you add the cash flow to it, it's just, extra icing on the cake, right? So I love it.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like I was talking to my sister the other day, and she was like, yeah, she's very risk adverse, and I'm not. And my big thing is like, why not? I mean, I'm young. This is the time to invest. I'm not reporting anybody. I don't have a family to look after. This is the opportune time for me to just jump in, because I don't have to look back, as significant other or family and being like, I'm sorry, I made this huge mistake. It's all on me. And knowing me, like I've made a bunch of mistakes in the past, and I've had those crappy jobs. I've been a janitor, I've been a dishwasher, door-to-door salesman. I've done all the crappy jobs, and I'm like, I don't want to ever go back to doing any of that stuff, right? And so this idea of financial freedom, like designing a lifestyle meant for me, not being scared to say what I need to say to who I need to say it to, because I see a lot of that in the military, especially on leadership side. Well, I can't say that to that person. He's a colonel. I'll do it. I'm like, they can fire me. I got cash flow, and so just having the freedom to do stuff like that. I mean, that's what life is about. I want to be just held to not doing stuff because of financial restraints. I never want that.
That's excellent, man. Keep taking those calculated risks, man. I love it, because all that stuff is going to pay off, man. Like I did the same thing. I specifically remember 3 different people telling me that I shouldn't have bought my first ever like true rental myself. I bought it for like 25 G's in Jacksonville, Florida. It was on a kind of a rougher part. It's kind of like you're talking about borderline. You throw a rock and there's some shootings. Well, really, that's about it. Like you throw a rock and there's some shootings, or you look around the area that you're at and it's pretty much okay. I'd say it's like a C area. But I specifically remember certain people telling me, no, you should not do that. Just keep your money safe. It might not work out. Be careful. We don't really want you to completely ruin everything. And I'm like, what is the worst that can happen? I lose 25,000. I lose 25 G's. That is the worst thing that can happen, right? Is I lose the money that I put into it. But again, these are all calculated risks. So I put 25 in. I bought it for 25. Put like 30 into it, and it appraised at $101,000, right? So was able to do 65% cash out refi, take my money back, and then put that into another 4 unit, and then the next one that I bought was pretty much the same situation. And I specifically remember people saying, nah, you probably shouldn't do that. It's got holes in the ceiling that, across the street, that looks like, somebody's over there. It looks like some shady people over there, So, and all this stuff pays off in the long run, man. Like all of it pays off in the long run. So I absolutely love it, man. Keep taking those calculated risks.
Yeah. Like you said, all you need is that proof of concept that works. Just one time, it showed me that worked. So once you start getting that first paycheck coming in, okay. Man,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're definitely going to have you back on for sure to talk, and we'll specifically reference this episode, right? Where you were at, and then, where you're at now, because I would love to hear. I can't wait till you get that 10 in. So just really quick, just for my sanity. I know you're in a duplex right now. You're living in the 1-1. That other side, what would that rent for? And then also, what is your mortgage?
So my mortgage right now is $510. After I cash out refi, I'm gonna get rid of PMI, so it should be around $480. That one should rent for $750. And that's on the low end. There's a big shortage in rentals in Columbus right now. And it's 1-1. I'm keeping it as a furnished 1-1. And so a furnished, it should rent between 700 and 900. I can't find a good mark for it because there's just not that many month-to-month furnished rentals in Columbus to measure off of. And so all in all, I should be cash flowing around 700-800 on this thing, and that's with property management.
And other expenses and stuff. So I mean, that's phenomenal. So once you actually get the tenant in, you'll be money. First off, you're keeping all of your BAH as a captain, right? And you're going to rent that other side out. That other side's going to more than pay for the mortgage of that property, right? And you're keeping all of your BAH, so just that alone, even if it doesn't appreciate in value, which I know it will, but even if it doesn't appreciate in value, you're able to save thousands of dollars, probably about $12 to $1,500 a month, just keeping your BAH alone, right? And you can take that and put that into something else, right? So, I mean, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about like, man, I might not want to do the house hack. I mean, just really sit back and think about what that would do to your finances if you can live in one unit for free, essentially, and then keep all your BAH. What would that really do for your financial situation if you're a service member? I just wanted to touch on that piece because we went through some of the scary stuff, right? But we didn't really talk about what the end result kind of looks like for most people, right? So,
and the other thing is too, like the house I got in Warner Robins, I did everything. I did not know what I was doing at all, right? And so I just jumped in and just chose a random house in a good school district. That thing, so I bought that one for $168. But with all the closing costs wrapped in, I think it came like $175. I bought it with a VA loan. And I got a contractor couple in there. Contractors make decent money. Military contractors in there right now. They pay me $1,350 a month. I think my note on that one's $1,100 a month. And then it appreciated like $25,000 a year for the past 2 years. And so that was a really good story. I can't imagine putting 20% down on that one. I'd probably be pretty decent cash flow right now. But my plan on that one is to cash out, refi in probably another 2 years, pull that equity in and probably push it toward another investment property. I really want a multifamily. I just don't have liquidity for it yet. And partner up for that short-term rental, and hopefully that will produce some liquidity investment multifamily.
What did you say? Partner up?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I learned my lesson.
You were just talking about the selfishness and stuff, so
yeah.
I wasn't expecting that one, but okay, that's awesome, man. I love the journey, and I love. Thank you for being so like candid and honest with your story. That transparency really means a lot because a lot of people, man, you'll hear the gurus. Oh, it's so easy. It's there's nothing you have to worry about. All this stuff is so simple. You don't deal with anything. But no, that's not really how it is, man. There's some struggles in this business, man. There is some struggles in this business, but it's so much more rewarding in the end when you go through those struggles, right? So I appreciate that.
And it builds your risk tolerance too when you go through them. You're not as scared because you already been through it. The problem that you thought was going to take you out the real estate game, like, oh, it's not really an issue. I was scared at the time, but nothing really happened. I'm still here. I'm still kicking. And I'm not bankrupt. Like, it just builds that risk tolerance muscle.
Exactly. So wrapping it up a little bit, man. If you had one piece of advice, just one piece of advice to give to anybody out there who's listening and who kind of wants to do the same thing, who wants to take some of those calculated risks and start building cash flow, what would that be?
Just jump in. Just jump in. You're not going to learn everything. You're not going to get everything right. Just accept that you're going to suck at something that you've never done before and jump in. It'll be the best decision of your life. And then all the naysayers who saying, ask them how many Bigger Pockets podcasts have they listened to, how many books have they read, how many different investors have they talked to. I guarantee you it's not that much, right? And so just jump in, stop having analysis paralysis, stop kicking yourself out of good deals,
Good stuff. Take action. That's what it is. Take action. Calculated action, just like you said. I mean, don't forget that piece. I mean, he definitely did his due diligence as far as reading books, as far as listening to podcasts, as far as going out there and talking to other investors. That helps mitigate a lot of the risk, probably about 70% of the risk, but there's nothing you can do to mitigate that last little 30%, 25%. There's nothing you can do for that. So that's a great point. Excellent point. How can our listeners get in contact with you?
All right, so I'm on Instagram. got a funny name. If you ever watch a cartoon show called Flapjack, there's a character on there, Captain Knuckles. I'm not a douchebag. I ain't named myself Captain Knuckles on Instagram because I'm a captain. But yeah, my Instagram name is Mr. Captain Knuckles, Captain_Knuckles. And then regular spelling on Facebook, James Peterson. I'm in like a squatting position in DC with my arms open. So that's me.
All right, excellent. Hey, we'll put all those links down below. They'll be in the show notes. So you guys go ahead and check that out. Make sure you reach out to James, man. Like this is a perfect, if you are just now starting off in real estate and you want to know like the raw truth and you want to know like what it feels like to be going through it, why James is a perfect person to reach out to, because he's literally going through it right now. And I think that's so invaluable. Sometimes it's hard to put yourself in the situation you were in, when you first, when a person did their first deal, they don't know all the intricate details. They're not going to remember all that stuff. Well, I can almost guarantee you James does, because he's literally going through it right now. So it's definitely reach out to him. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and leave us a comment. If you got any questions, I'm sure James will answer them. Come join the Facebook group. We got about 3,000 service members on there, helping each other build wealth and grow cash flow. You talked about finding money, right? Getting some lenders. You got to reach out to my guy, Mike Glassby. He's a mortgage loan officer. So he lends in all 50 states. So he can definitely help you with those, with that loan as well. Other than that, man, this is Dan Wynn signing off.